Where's my machete? I got to cut myself out of this thicket. There it is. Hi, everybody. 420 Live, Jeff Kravitz. Welcome to another adventure. It is Wednesday, hump day, 24th of July. I was almost going to get the date right, and then it's like, okay, 24th of June, 24th of July. It's all rolling into one, folks. The whole year. I can't even keep track. I feel like it's Groundhog Day. I wake up every day. I do the same kind of thing, and I'm not going anywhere. There's nothing really going on. I'm like in this perpetual state of limbo. And today we have I think we have a special guest. I talked to Tommy, and I said, "Hey, Tommy, you want to come on the show?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." Here he goes. Okay, so Shelby, his wife, has just told him, "Yo, Tommy, by the way, Kravitz is up there with his underwear hanging out." Oh, there he is. Okay, I see you, but I don't see you, Tommy. All right, here he's coming in. Click. Anyway, if you've been following along for the past 100 days, I've been coming to you live. Sorry, I'm dealing with this now, and I've been coming to you live on my daily dalliance, distracting you from all the things that are going on in this crazy world, this unknown, this great big zero. And, I've had a multitude of guests. And one of the first people I reached on my 420 week, Ike Richmond's like, "Get Cheech and Chong on." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. It'll be that easy, right?" And so I was like, how do I get a hold of Tommy? So I figured it out. I hit my friend Pam, the Hollywood Beauty Awards up, LATF. And she hooked me up with Shelby Chong. And then I contacted Tommy, and he said yes. And, it's so unusual. I've contacted so many people to be on the show. And a lot of them are like, "Nah, Kravitz, I just can't deal with it right now. I'm in a very special place." So, and it's not really time. I don't see you. Hold on. This all happened last time. So I'm going to just go on my other browser to make sure I'm not seeing him over there, because that would really be plugged up. Upcoming and a broadcast studio. Let's see. No, he's not there. Okay, so I don't see. There he is, Mr. Chong. Hello, Tommy.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good.
It's good. It's good to see you. It's been a while. It's been like 10 weeks since the last time we talked.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have a completely different planet we're on.
Do you think?
Yeah, it seems like it. Well, not the planet itself, but the people on it, maybe.
No, it's just our own brain. We're just sort of, getting out of old habits and learning new norms.
Do you think this has been just a giant push that we've needed all these years?
Yeah, it's everything. It's our karma. It's the physical universe. Every action, there's a reaction. And so this is a reaction to the way we've been treating our planet. And so, we're not going to stop polluting until something comes along and makes us stop. And that's what's happening.
Well, if I look back at 2016, and I think back if Hillary Clinton would have got in, we probably would have been up for just staying in the same rigmarole where I think Trump kind of forced a hand that we never saw coming. Do you think that in some weird way, maybe 10 or 20 years later down the line, that he is going to make America great again? Or you think we would be better off without him?
Well, we'll never know.
Well, we will, but it'll take time.
We can Trump, he's been with us for a long time.
Yes.
He's been ordained. I mean, it was forecast, like with the Simpsons. Simpsons had him president, 20 years before it happened. And so, no, he serves a great purpose, I think, because what he's done. See, we were coasting along, taking a lot of things for granted, including the subversion of Black people. That was just being taken for granted, like, don't rock the boat. Everything's fine. Everything's good. Well, Trump come along and he has no, he's like a 10-year-old kid. You know, he's got limited experience, limited knowledge, but he's got a con man's heart, and he's an actor. And so he more, and not a very good actor. Like he can learn his line. He knows how to entertain. Like The Apprentice taught him enough about camera, about acting to take him to where he is now. Because the thought of having someone that had no political ambitions and just strictly a businessman coming in and taking over the country, it was appealing, because you thought, wow, now we can get some. I thought for sure we were going to get infrastructure, because he's a builder. I thought for sure we're going to have bridges and we're going to have roads, and if he's smart, he gets a piece of everything, and so he can become wealthier than any man on the planet. He had a chance. He had that right in his lap.
But he couldn't stay out of his own way.
No, he's a sex pervert, and that's his biggest problem. See, that's where his mind's at. You see, and that's what stops all those great guys that are in jail now and everything else, is that it's that perverted that part of you, that it's just totally evil.
It's interesting you bring that up, because that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today. I think there's been a huge reckoning in the past week. We've had accusations on Ansel Elgort, who's a very handsome young actor, Justin Bieber, who's a very popular actor, Ron Jeremy, who's a porn star, Danny Mastering, Chris D'Elia, and this is Cole Sprouse, all in a matter of 7 days, 8 days. This has all happened.
Yeah. Because what's happening is that people, and if you notice, like the gay community and the LGBTQ community, they've made big strides. I'm watching Schitt's Creek, the show with Eugene Levy.
Yes,
incredible. I mean, there is showing you the inside of a gay man's life. Telling his parents that he's gay, all that. I mean, all this would not have come out had we been on the same old path, And so, what's happening is so exciting, because we're really learning the lesson of who we are. This is that virus is telling us, this is who you are. This is where you fit in the food chain. You're susceptible, and you're only here for a little while, and your job really is to take care of the planet. That's really what our job is.
Why do you think all of this is coming on? Because there's been a culture. I mean, you're in entertainment. Women throw themselves at you when you're on stage. That's a part of the thing. And men throw themselves at women. I mean, it's a thing. When you're on stage, you appeal to a lot of people because you have a guitar on or you're funny behind the microphone. And women and men get stimulated watching people on stage. And there's always been that after party after a big rock show where all the band brings all the groupies back and everybody hangs out and hooks up. I mean, that has been a part of our culture for years and years and years. Correct?
That is a reward. That's the reward for being human.
But then now it's coming back to bite him in the ass, because people are saying, yeah, when I partied with this rock star, he did this to me, and I really didn't want that.
Absolutely. Because, it's a dance, it's a game, and you can't cheat. You see, you can't cheat. Like, and cheating is cheating. Cheating and gambling, or cheating on a woman, or cheating on your partner, it's a cheat. You're lying, you see, and you pay for your lies. That's what it is. I mean, there's been a ton of all the shows I've been watching, like Outlander. Have you heard?
Yeah. My wife loves it.
Oh, the sex and the love in that show is so incredible and so real, and so, I mean, they don't just make love, or just do the thing, as a joke. I mean, this is serious filming of real lovemaking, and that's what television is. And this is what the shutdown did for me anyway. Forced me to look at this. I would never have looked at it. I would have been so involved in my own life, going to the show, doing a show, doing.
There it comes. Hey, come on, Tommy. I know you're there.
I'm learning. I mean, I'm learning all about filmmaking. I wrote the next Cheech and Chong movie.
So you've been really busy. You've been really creative in this time.
Well, it was like being in prison. You got nothing.
And you were used to that.
You got nothing else to do but write, observe, listen. The other day, I spent the whole day. Yesterday, I spent almost the whole day on the bed listening to music and really listening to jazz, listening to classical, listening to everything. And because I took an edible, I took something, and it just knocked my ass out. It knocked me on my ass. And so I had nowhere else to go. Nothing to do but lay there and listen to music. Oh, it's incredible. And then I write. I get up in the middle of the night. I'm sleeping I'm not by myself. I got my pup with me, but I'm downstairs like in my studio. And so I can wake up at 2, 3 in the morning, write, play music, do whatever I do, think, watch TV, I'm having
you're saying that it's given you space, and what I find is I don't have the demands that I had before, where I always had something on the schedule to look forward to. That's created this big void that I'm filling with different things.
Yes, and things that you should have been doing.
Right.
You put it off, like even the brush clearance around my house. I put it off, and I went out there the other day. I was looking for a little piece of bamboo for my art, and I looked at the bamboo, and oh man, it was a fire hazard, And so I've been spending like 2 weeks cleaning out the dead bamboo around my house, and loving every minute of it. Oh, it's not a labor; it's a joy. This is what we're supposed to be doing on the planet. We're supposed to be taking care of the planet.
Yeah, but for years, you were bringing enjoyment to people through your comedy, and I still see you out there doing that online in different situations like this. But so, do you think what do you think is going to happen if this is done, or do you think it's ever going to be done, or do you think this is a whole new paradigm? I just love when it freezes. Big bamboo.
Like happy birthday and Father's Day and all that stuff, And so I'm busy.
The cameo, right?
I was out to dinner with Sugar Ray Leonard, the fighter.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. You were blocked up for a little bit there. But
did I lose you?
Yeah, you lost me there. You lost me there for a second, but I got you now. Can you hear me? Tommy?
Are you talking?
Yeah, I'm talking.
I can't hear you.
I
can't hear you.
I think your Wi-Fi. Do you want to try calling back
in? The show.
You're in.
I don't have any audio.
Do you want to hang up and call back?
Hang up?
Call back. Yes. Hang up and call back. I think we lost Tommy there for a second. Let's remove him, and then we'll bring him back. The mannequin challenge. You guys, I love this. Big bamboo. That was great, huh? He's one of a kind, Tommy. If you guys have questions, Tommy, look at you guys. The comedy coming off you guys is just too good.
Okay,
Tommy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
That wasn't my joke.
Hang up.
Hang up. Oh, hey, it's the hand signs. You know what, Tommy? The first time we got together, it was a technical nightmare. So I was like, what's going to happen today? So I'm ready for anything now. I've become much better at relaxing.
Well, I learned that trick, the computer trick. Turn it off.
Turn it off.
But I have Alexa, that's my partner in crime. And For one night, I never had Alexa because she kept saying, "I'm not hooked up to the internet," and she was telling me what to do about the internet. And then I realized, oh, just unplug it, plug it back in, boom, worked like crazy.
Yeah, sometimes they need a little reset. So
Yeah.
one of the reasons I want to have you on, because I've been following you on Twitter, which I didn't do before, and you
Oh,
are
yeah.
explosive. I mean, the stuff that's coming off your Twitter, it's where you practice all your politics. And you got yourself yesterday, there was an article, there was a tweet that you talked about Sean King, who said that Jesus, all the white art that has Jesus on it should be taken down around the world. And you were one of the only people that agreed.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, there was an article today, and there were probably 20 tweets that said, "What are you, crazy? You're going to be taking down stained glass windows. You're going to be popping all this art. Jesus was made." Everybody that looks at Jesus in a different way, everybody has their own idea of what Jesus is.
Well, yeah. Well, the whole history. That's what when I was in prison, I studied, I started studying about the religion, and then I got some really hip books. Emmett Fox is one of them. He's a scholar, that tells you what the Bible is written in code. And so Emmett Fox tells you what the code's all about. That's why, Jesus was definitely not a white man. And his name wasn't Jesus. His name was probably Joseph. Jesus is a title. It means savior. It's a Greek word, and same as Christ. The Christ. It was Christ is also a title. The Christ is the name of the Spirit that we all have. That we all are. The Christ. And so every once in a while I throw that little bit of stuff into the mix. But yeah, I love Twitter for that reason. That it's teaching, and I'm learning too. Like, did you see today? I was at a thing about the pyramids. I said something about the slaves building the pyramids.
Right.
And then
What you said was interesting was that the slaves were employed, and it was legal at that point.
Yeah, exactly. No, slavery was in the Bible. It's all through the Bible. How you're supposed to treat your slaves. It was a common thing. Well, we have slavery today. Only it's they don't call it slavery. But you
Well,
become
they call it prison, right?
well. Prison actually is more like a school.
Yeah, but there's been a big thing. I don't know if you've seen the documentary 13th that's been out. It's an amazing documentary, and it's all about the 13th Amendment and how it was enacted so they could put the slaves back to work as slaves, how they created a prison system. And one of the things they were saying is a lot of businesses are run out of prisons now, and a lot of people are working as modern-day slaves.
Work building missiles, in the missile factory, and yeah. Oh yeah, especially everybody the inmates run prisons, they run because they're smarter than the people that work in the prisons. They're all ex-businessmen, lawyers, doctors, everybody that's used to running companies, CEOs, and so they put them to work in prison. It's not like the movies. Yeah, you're right. But you do get paid in prison. You get paid in a different, you don't get the kind of wages that you would get if you're on the outside. But just to keep it kind of legal. Well, you get enough for what you need in prison. You see, the thing is about prison, it can be a school. If you want it to be. I mean, there's no reason. I mean, you got all the time in the world. It's like going to college. You can study. You got nothing else to do. No, I mean, in prison you can do sports, but I never. Other than working out, I just went on a very spiritual quest. And I'm still on it.
You're still discovering. So,
Yeah.
there's been a huge pushback for the police and defund the police. What do you think of all the animosity coming out to our men in blue these days?
Oh, it's great. It's great. I love what it does. See, if you follow the British or any civilized country, they don't they don't allow the police to become a gang. It's not allowed. You know, and but down here it's allowed because that's what basically that's what they are. And and it shows. It's like Mexico. Mexico's a little more out front with it. Like you're driving to Mexico and you get stopped by the police, and if you don't have your money up, you're going to go to jail.
Right. They want the bribe up front.
You better hit him with that bribe. Peach's got a great story because his dad's a cop, and they used to go down to Mexico to visit their aunt because they're originally from Mexico, and because Cheech's dad was a cop, he would not bribe the Mexican cops, and so the Mexican cop, because he didn't give a shit if the guy was a cop or not. Are you going to give me my bribe or not? And if you don't give me my bribe, I'm going to make it miserable for you. And so when Cheech and them would go on vacation, they would pack everything on top, load everything on top of the car, like everybody did, with a tarp over it, and it was Cheech's job to load the car and unload it. That was his job. And so when they got stopped by the cops said, when he found out he wasn't getting his tip, he says to the dad, to Oscar, he goes, "What do you got in there?" And the dad says, just our clothes, our furniture, and that. He says, "How do I know you're not smuggling drugs?" And he says, "Well, you can search if you want." So Cheech has to unload the whole truck. And then the cop takes his time, looks through it, still trying to make his money. He does make his money. Then Cheech has to load everything back up, stick it back on top of the truck or the car. And then when they pulled into a motel, there'd be a swimming pool and everything else. But Cheech has to unload the truck or the car and put it in the motel so no one will steal it. Oh, he had the best story, man, about that. But yeah, it's cops are they're people, and
But
they
don't you think it's so misguided when you see some of the things like this kid Elijah? Have you seen this? He's the latest one. He played violin for people, and he was sat on in front of his house, and he needed help, and they wouldn't let him breathe, and his whole soliloquy of what he said and was recorded by the police. A recorder was just unbelievable. I mean, so sad and heartbreaking, and it's like the police aren't listening. It's like they have no compassion. And now they don't even understand that they're being recorded and on video, and everybody's going to see it eventually.
That's the Trump supporter. You're talking about Trumpy. They're the guys that don't believe that this pandemic's real. Everything's a hoax. See? And when Trump tells the cops, this is the president of the United States, telling cops to do what you want to do.
Yeah, it's insane. Tommy in and out.
Do that if Obama was in power. They wouldn't even go, because they know they'd be in trouble. But Trump's the leader of the gang. That's why all this stuff is happening,
Well, the thing is, he has no shame, and he never apologizes, and it rolls downhill. He's unapologetic when he's wrong.
He doesn't know how to. You understand?
Oh, I get it.
This is a rich kid that grew up. Can you imagine? He grew up, and when he got a toy for Christmas, he would destroy that toy. Why? Because he knew he was going to get another one. And besides, he was sick of getting them, That's what rich people are. They're bored. That's why they become perverts and everything, because they're bored. They don't really have any real job to do or anything to learn. Everything's done for them.
Yeah.
So,
it's a kiss of death. I mean, look at Steve Bing. I mean, Steve Bing was such a great humanitarian and stepped up, but ran through $600 million, ended up with some major problems, and then killed himself. I mean, it's almost better not to give anybody anything, like pass it down to the kids. It's almost better to make them earn it themselves.
Well, you can look at it that way. Well, no, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it. Everybody's here on their own trip, Everybody's on their own trip. And so there's no one size fits all. There's no one, this is the way people should act. That's why there's gays, there's LGBTQ people. There's people with affirm, trouble with no legs. People, everybody's here to. They also learn. I mean, that's their job. That's Trump. That's what Trump is. Trump really is a con man. That's the only thing he knows. He hung out with gangsters in New York.
Absolutely.
That's where he got
and
his
Jersey
money.
and Atlantic City. I mean, that's all. And Vegas and everywhere else. There's a sweet spot there when you're holding your phone, Tommy.
Hey, Donnie's the president. What do you think of that? Well, Scaramouche, the lawyer.
Yeah, Scaramucci. Yeah,
he's perfect. He knows Trump up, down, and sideways.
Yeah,
Michael Cohen. They're all from the gang. They're all from the same gang. Flynn. They're all and Barr. They're all in The Sopranos, except they're not that smart.
Right. They're done. Well, I thought what Bolton said, they were talking to Bolton about Putin versus Trump. And what he said about Putin was that Putin has spent his whole life trying to make Russia better. And he got rich too, but Trump spent his whole life being Donald Trump and trying to make Donald Trump better. So he
tried to get laid. That's all he ever thought about. That's all he ever thought about. Look what he said at Access Hollywood tape. That's Donald Trump. That is Donald Trump. Ron Jeremy and Donald Trump would have the best conversations, because they got the stories. They got the stories, man. That's his life. That's all he thinks about. When he has no idea, he doesn't know where any of these countries are. People just tell him these things. He never thought about anything like that. He is. That's why I don't hate him at all. But I'm just really enjoying what.
Move your phone a little bit. There it is. All right. So did you? What did you think? What did you think of Bolton? I mean, I'm pretty pissed off that he didn't testify to Congress 6 months ago.
No one really cares, man. Everybody. Comey is the guy. Why did Comey allow Trump to win? Because he did. There was no reason.
He threw him under the bus at the last minute.
There was no reason for Comey to do that to Hillary. He did it because they wanted Trump in, and they being the Republicans. And Comey's a Republican, But as soon as they got him in, they realized this guy's a gangster. And then they're going, what are we going to do with him? And so that's why they had military people around him, Trump, all the time, to make sure that he's not going to, push the button or go crazy on that way, But no, Trump is just, remember when he got elected? Who was it? Joe Rogan, I think. He said he's a dog that caught the car he was chasing.
It didn't know what to do with it, right? Once you got it, the dog doesn't know what to do with the car. Now what?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I've never gotten over that one, man. I wrote songs about it, about Trump not wanting to win because he didn't want to win.
No,
he just wanted to campaign. He just wanted to. He became a stand-up comedian because of the Access Hollywood. See, Access Hollywood told him how to say lines and command a room, and Trump he just wanted to campaign. He just loved talking crap about Hillary and about Obama. Saying his real true feelings, and then finding out he's got a crowd that agrees with him. He's having the best time of his life, but that's what he wants to do. And he only has one act. He's
Well,
a
what
one
do
trick
you
pony.
think? You think America's going to tune in for more of this, or you think we're done?
Oh no, Trump is going to lose by the biggest landslide in the history of in the history of. Hey, listen, they already got a bigger turnout for everything, and every Democrat around is winning. Is winning everything.
Well, not only that, yesterday in New York and in Kentucky,
Yeah,
people that he didn't want to win both won on the
yeah,
Republican side for the Republican runoff. So
yeah,
they
yeah,
and it was interesting to see in the past 2 weeks how all of a sudden the Supreme Court turned against him,
yeah,
and all of a sudden the generals turned against him, and
yeah.
it's like everybody's turning on him at the same time. It's very interesting.
Well, it's timing. It's timing. You see, a couple of months out, too soon, and he can hurt you. But you do it now, he can't hurt anybody now. That's
Do
why
you,
Bolton come out.
do you think if this whole pandemic thing would have never happened, he would have gotten reelected? Oh, $64,000 question into the.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I never thought. See, Trump didn't want to win, and then I thought, oh, he's going to be impeached because I thought for sure, when they found out what he's done, that the Republicans would be like they did with, with Nixon, that they were going to come. There's going to be some of them going to say, and put Pence in,
But
but
don't you think that would be the perfect strategy right now to like Donald? Because you can see like daily, he has no enthusiasm and he doesn't give a fuck. I mean, every day he's coming up and they're saying, oh, I'm not going to pay for testing anymore. Oh, that was a joke. And then today in the paper, no more testing. I'm pulling all the funds.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And they're sitting on $14
No,
billion.
he wasn't joking. He wasn't joking. Hey, and where did all that bailout money go? How many billions was out there?
Is that amazing that they could do that and say that we're not going to be transparent? We never guarantee transparency. What the fuck?
They're gangsters, man. What do you expect?
But where's the checks and balances? Wasn't our government built where we could check and balance, or they've gotten rid of them?
It's all theoretical now. When you don't have a justice system, we got anarchy right now. It's in our face right now. But everybody's taking advantage of it. The Democrats are taking advantage of it. Everybody's taking advantage of it. The people are making the money. And the thing is, here's bottom line. If you don't earn your money legally and properly, that money will not stay with you. It's just like taking someone else's pet and trying to keep it in your house. If you let it out the door, it's going to run right home. You see, and that's what happens to people. Like when you steal, you're stealing other people's money. You're stealing other people's sweat, and you're hurting other people when you take something that doesn't belong to you, and be it a car.
A house, a presidency.
is broke every one of those rules, and
Maybe you guys are seeing the whole thing, or are you seeing Frozen too?
a lot of them are walking the tightrope, thinking that, well, But if you look at it, who they got left? Jim Jordan, Matt Getz.
Well, no, but I think Mitt Romney would be a great choice to put in there. I mean, he actually
that's what I was thinking that was going to happen. Especially when Trump started messing up with the pandemic. But no, they're just going to let it go to the election. Yeah,
because I mean, he's so lackadaisical. Like even watching his act now, he's so half-hearted into it because I think they've taken all the fight out of him already. It seems to me like just watching, he's just doesn't have it. That speech.
Well, he can't be outrageous. You can only be outrageous once. This is what shock jocks learn. This is what comedians learn. Like when you got that act that is so shocking, that's whatever got you there is going to take you down. You see, that's why Andrew Dice Clay, he had a short shelf life when he was doing his ridiculous, his
the
nasty
poems
thing.
and stuff.
Yeah, same. Sam Kennison, same thing. If you notice, Sam, when they put him on the television, they made him like a little midget, little tiny person, because his personality was so horrible,
Yeah.
anti everything, that he couldn't be full sized. You see, no, when you make that decision, to go rogue, so to speak, that only works for that one period in time when people, you took them by surprise. That
Is that
movie was.
is that the karmic slapback?
Yes, absolutely. Well, you do it like comedians. A lot of times comedians will steal other people's acts, and they won't give them credit. They won't. But eventually it catches up to them, because there comes a time when you have to write your own stuff, and if you don't have it and you try it and it doesn't work, because everything, like being a comedian, it's like skating. You're not going to go around the rink the first time. You're going to fall on your ass a bunch of times. But if you keep doing it, practice, you get to the point. The more you practice, pretty soon you're doing tricks. You see. But when you cheat, you can maybe fool it once. That's what Trump did. He cheated, and then he got in, but he got in because Putin and the Republicans wanted him in. But now then Putin found out that he really was probably worse worse of a nightmare than it helped, because it just showed when you associate with Trump, it rubs off on you. That's why he gets, when he goes to world conferences and that, everybody kind of shuns, get away from Trump,
But
because you don't want
it amazes me how many guys defend him and how many guys are propping him up. And don't they realize that they're going to get taken down in this too? What do you think McConnell and Graham's chances are in November?
I think they've already. I hope they got enough retirement. Well, even if they did, it'll be illegal, and it won't stay with them. They're in for a rough haul from now on. All those guys, all the people, the Fox News, everybody that stuck up with this guy, they're in. They're losers. They're going to go down with the ship.
Well, last week the SDNY had to fire. They fired Jeffrey Berman, who was he had no less than 4 or 5 cases on there, and on his way out, he made sure that they appointed his deputy. This was the only way I
Yeah.
heard he would leave. And Lindsey Graham actually said that they're going to give the Senate approval on who the replacement is. The
Yeah.
Democratic side.
On the Dems, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you can't please Trump anymore, because he throws you under the bus. Like they're trying to say, oh, he's only kidding, and then Trump goes, I was not kidding. I don't kid. We got to stop testing. I mean, he's such a danger, but he's just showing everybody, that he never wanted the job. He's unsuited for the job, and that's what con men do. I've got a whole history of hanging out with con men. I know all about them, and what they do. They have no respect for you. Whoever believes them, they have zero to even point zero of respect for anybody that believes them. Because if you're dumb enough to believe them, then you're dumb enough to be taken for every penny you have. That's the way they feel. And that's why, like Trump and people that, they have great respect for people that stand up to them, and that call them right off the bat. Trump. That's why Trump was kissing Hillary's uh, Bill Clinton's butt. For remember, he was a big Bill Clinton fan. Trump. He was even Democratic at that time. No, it's the reckoning is going to be. It's going to be beautiful. I mean, this pandemic was perfect for this, because remember Hill used to say, what happens when Trump gets hit with a real disaster, because it's going to happen. It happens to everybody. What's he going to be doing? They're just tweeting. Well, guess what? That's all he's doing. is tweeting. He can't, because he can't handle it. He can't handle it, man. He can't wear a mask. And all it does with him not wearing the mask, it just shows you who's the idiot here. Oh, the guy without the mask, or anybody without a mask. If you're not walking around with a mask on, then you're an idiot. because that virus, it's not going to play around. When it gets you, it gets you. Have you got friends that did it, that got it?
I've had some friends that have had it, yes, but I haven't had anybody that's died of it, fortunately. And we're totally locked up. Are you hearing me, Tom?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it the satellite, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually hardwired in, and I'm having issues today. So there must be something up with the internet. It's always something.
Yeah, it always is. It's electronics.
The electronics. So what you finished the script? People in the comments are really excited about that. Can you talk a little bit about what little bit about the storyline, or is it top secret?
What's that?
The script you wrote for you and Cheech.
You were the first to hear about it.
Wow.
My wife hasn't even heard about it. And Cheech has definitely not heard about it. No, you're the first. No, the other night I was in my bed and very, very high, very high. I've been testing product, and all of a sudden, well, I had this idea, and then I'm thinking, basically, my idea is how to go forward with the world, because I always just say that marijuana will save the world, and it's kind of happening. What's happening? The hemp smokers are making all these changes, and inventing the computer and the iPhone and robots and AI and all that stuff. That's all generated with marijuana. That's what got everybody thinking about these things. And so I'm thinking, especially with the immigration problem, that Trump had, and that Obama had, and that everybody has, because we're the richest country in the world, and everybody wants to come here, because this is where the money is, and so if you're poor and you're living in Guatemala or Mexico or somewhere, and you got relatives that are up in Canada making enough money to send money home, of course you're going to have people want to join in. And so we're going to have immigration problems. And so I came up with a solution to fix that particular problem. And I wrote it.
Oh boy. Can you hear me, Tommy?
I'm
Tommy.
gone too. Oh, I'm back.
I'm back too. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
So
good.
anyway, so the Cheech and Chong movie that I wrote, it has the plot.
Durr. Oh God damn! I'm cursed. I'm cursed. Go ahead.
No,
it has the plot.
blessed.
That's as far as I heard. It has the plot.
That will save the world.
I love it.
That will save the world. Now, of course, I can't tell anybody until I get all my ducks in a row.
Of course.
And when I do, oh, then you'll hear about it, because it's.
Well, I don't think anybody was even expecting that there might be a possibility of another Cheech and Chong movie, but it's amazing to hear it.
And me included. I was the last guy to think, that wanted to do a movie, especially a Cheech and Chong movie. I thought that was, in the past. But then, as I worked on this project, because I've been working on this particular project I'm Canadian,
Right.
and it took me a bunch of years, a good 10 years, to finally get a green card and do it. And I only did it out of because I'm blessed. Motown actually got my green card. So there's some problems, and immigration is it's natural. It should happen, but I have, like I say, I have the solution, and it kills me that I can't tell you because I like everybody. Well, I've told a few people that they don't know if I'm kidding, if I'm joking around, or because it's so crazy. Did you ever see the television show Hollywood?
Oh, yes, yes. Amazing.
Yeah, you like that?
Yes. I thought it was incredible. And my daughter was actually watching it, and she was learning all about the history of Hollywood, the guy that worked at the gas station, the gigolo. And I remember all that history from reading about it when I moved to LA.
Yeah.
About that.
Well, see, they had the perfect system. You see, right up until they got stupid with the McCarthyism, that kind of crap. It's funny how politics kind of ruined a good thing, because Hollywood was happening, was clipping along really good, and but there's a lot of prejudice comes in play, you see, and jealousy and power grabs, but
Well, I
the
mean,
Hollywood,
immigration has always been a theme of your movies, like in all the
yeah,
Cheech movies.
yeah, 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 yeah. It worked. It worked really well. Well, what I realized that a movie company is equipped to way more equipped to find people that would make good what do you call it, immigrants, you know, than anybody. Because when you hire somebody from another country, you have to vet them. You have to check out their background. It has to be, pretty cool. And then you have to have a reason why you're bringing them over,
Right.
you know, to work, you know. But it's a system that is incredible, because when you work on a movie, everything's taken care of. All you have to do is perform. Perform your job.
You had to step up and direct Up in Smoke. Do you think you're going to direct this picture, or do you think you're going to farm it out? You haven't decided yet.
Uh no, I'm going to be the mogul of the movie company. I'm going to be, Metro Gold Mayor.
Yeah,
I'm going to be mayor.
you're going to be Chong.
Yeah, yeah, I'm going to be Chong. Yeah, no, I'll have everybody hired, but I'm going to be the mogul, because moguls, they are the guys. They are the dictators. You see, back in the day, Hollywood had a moral code that worked. Can you imagine what America would have been like if Hollywood didn't have that moral code? So people went to the movies to find out how to act. You see, now, because that moral code disappeared, you can have anything on camera now.
You're talking about like in the old days, they had to have 1 foot on. If a couple was on a bed, the guys would have to be on the floor and stuff like that.
Exactly. And the bad guy had to pay the price. You know what I'm saying?
Right, he couldn't win in the end.
He couldn't win in the end, and he had, you know what I mean? They had that. See, and when you think about it, the only problem that I had, they advertised other things that actually proved to be very harmful. The cigarettes, for instance, the
Right.
cigarette was a big theme in every movie. I mean, you'd be dying, and the last thing, instead of asking for a doctor or a glass of water, you ask for your cigarette. Or you're going to get shot, and the last thing they do is put the blindfold on to give you a cigarette. Have his last cigarette. uh, but they used to promote it that, and they promoted alcohol not as much. Actually, it was Puritan days. That's when but they still had the bars where they were drinking in the speakeasies, and yeah, yeah, and the alcohol was used. Yeah, you know what I'm
So,
saying?
do I what?
Do you know what I'm saying about a moral code?
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Because I remember that there was all these rules you had in making movies with couples on scene, and if they were going to kiss, or if there's going to be anything to happen, it had to be all above the table. Let's say there was nothing, no hanky panky going on. And nowadays we've lost all that, and now the bad guy is as likely to be the hero as the good guy, come and win the day. And we got a bad guy in charge too. So it's kind of like our whole world's flipped around.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So if you get the right guy in charge, then you can have, because that's what it is. It's like I look at it like art installations. You know, Christie, he just died recently, but remember he used to do
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. The plastic
um,
wrapped islands and the
Rap Islands,
yes,
and that's the kind of art that I
yeah, the big arts projects.
because I've always maintained that you can change the world with art too, but I want to combine it with a movie. See, the movie that I want to do is going to take about maybe 20 years to finish. It will be, see, because you don't have the same kind of uh,
But
problems that you
that's not
had.
the script you just wrote, though. That's a different thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
No. This is a script.
Well, it's
This is a
I love
script.
you. I love you, Tommy. But I know you're not a spring chicken anymore. In 20 years from now,
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a legacy that you leave.
right?
See, Mayer, he's gone too. Zanuck, all those guys,
Right.
they're
They left a
gone.
legacy behind them.
That's what I'm saying. See, so all I have to do is show them how to do the first one. You see,
Got you.
and then they'll come in, and then everybody come in. I haven't. There's two people I'm going to throw this at. I think I'm not sure yet. Tom Hanks is one of them, and Jeffrey Katzenberg, the guy that used to run Disney, and he's a friend.
Yes.
Yeah, he once flew to Canada one time to get me to do a bit in one of his movies that he was working on, and he loved it. He came all the way up to. He thought he was going up to Alaska. He was going to the Vancouver Island, and so him and his partner or his helper, assistant, flew a little prop plane, rented up
That was
to.
for the zebra. Was that the zebra role or?
No, this was for it. It came from Hollywood. It was like a spoof on Hollywood movies, scary movies, and we just had a little bit part with Gilda Radner. We're in a movie theater watching it, something, But it was like Teach and Chong does a favor for Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Gotcha.
That's really.
So he owes you
And,
one.
yeah, well, he actually paid it back. He booked us into Lion King.
Oh,
Except
right. Right.
I
Yes.
turned down the part because at that time I didn't want to. Cheech and Chong to me, we weren't Disney, and I didn't want to be associated with Disney. Uh, and then now, years later, I end up doing a bit for Zootopia,
Right.
and that's Disney, and so that was my no, I was my I'm too much of a stoner to work for Disney, and so I turned it down. But
Yeah.
Katzenberg, he's one of the guys that might understand my thinking. But anyway, I'm really enjoying this creative time of my life.
It's kind of crazy how everything's changing so fast, don't you think? It's been like a huge purge, like just a roto rooter of our whole society, our whole world.
Yeah, yeah. You can't hug people anymore. You can't. You can't even shake their hand.
I know.
It's crazy. But when you think about it, you know, it's like being a Canadian because you're locked down. You got nowhere to go.
It's cold.
And
It's not
it's
cold.
too far to go anywhere.
It's
Too
beautiful.
far to go anywhere.
You have a nice mask? You got a nice collection of masks there?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I do. I use neckerchiefs.
Oh yeah, the
Like the
bandana.
yeah, I like that better. My wife doesn't like the way I look at them, and she's got a few masks for me, and she makes them. She makes masks to match your dress and stuff.
She's a talented lady. So the last time I had you on the show, I gave you a solo pipe, and every time
I
I see
use
you
it.
online, you're using the solo pipe.
Yes, I do. I love that.
It's amazing how resourceful stoners are to come up with all these crazy ideas.
Well, it inspired the hell out of me, because I'm back making pipes again. I quit for a long time. Uh, I had no inspiration, but that solo pipe, I just love it. I love it. It's a one-hander. I get to
For one
hold it
hand.
in one hand.
Well, he actually came by and showed me a couple prototypes for some new ideas he had. I'm going to run them by you so you can see them. Then maybe you guys can come up with something together because I think that technology is very cool. And there's some new technology out too that's really cool.
Well, if he wants me to promote him, we can make it.
Tommy, you're associated with every product in the world. That's why I was so impressed that I gave you something that resonated so much with you because I know that you have so many things come into your hands that for you to actually
Yeah.
this is something I use has to really get your attention. Yes. Oh, I'm so close.
That one wiped the easy pipe off the chart, much to the chagrin of the easy pipe people. But that's okay. I like bongs too, but bongs, it takes two hands. This one hander. I'm doing my cameos now, and I'll hold the phone in one hand and light it up and smoke up with that other hand.
That is great. Well, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know always seems you and I have technical difficulties, but hopefully one day we'll be able to do this face to face and I won't have to worry about this.
And you never know what might happen.
Thank you, Tommy. Anything you want to shout out? Anything you have coming up or you want to plug? Or I know you did this thing with Carl Reiner.
Well, I guess I can announce this on your. No, I better not.
Okay.
Not.
We follow you on Twitter, so if we see anything coming by, we'll let everybody know.
Okay. Yeah, anytime. You call me anytime, Jeff.
Thank you, Tommy. Have a great day.
Okay, bro.
Love the show. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. There you go. True original legend. Right. Right. But you know what? It's so special that bring my friends. I know. You know what? We got through it, and I think when you watch it back, hopefully it'll make you laugh. This is a lot more stable than the last time. Last interview was more about how we were getting to. I really wanted to talk about coffee. Definitely coming from a different place out there. So we got to keep today to rock and talking about the new team. And he did himself like we're teaching. So that's good news. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Peace, love, happiness. We'll be back tomorrow with Ed Powell. We're going to talk about justice against lives and uh, thank you, Tommy Chong. Great show, even though my co-host. Here's the hug. Oh, have a great day. See you tomorrow. Same bad time. Same bad time.